Bhattacharya is known for his simplicity, his simple lifestyle. He is very affectionate to the literature, and during his period, in spite of all his party's reservation, he earnestly tried to industrialize in West Bengal. Respected Madam, I am from the state of West Bengal. When I was a student, we used to hear one slogan, the Soviet Union's economy is the strongest one. 1.45 ruble is equivalent to $1. And what happened in the early 90s, in the glasnost perestroika, after the disintegration, reality comes out. Everybody is talking about कि किसी भी कीमत से ये प्राइस हाइक को रोकना है, टैक्स स्ट्रक्चर को बदलना है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पास कोई बहुमत नहीं है, ये अल्पसंख्यक की सरकार है, किसी भी समय टूट सकते हैं। पश्चिम बंगाल की धरती पर खड़े होकर जो लोग बोलते थे पथ एक ही है, वो है क्रांति, हम लोग समानता रहेंगे, अकॉर्डिंग टू नीड, अकॉर्डिंग टू एबिलिटी। एक समय जो डॉक्टर राम मनोहर लोहिया का भाषा बोलते थे, वो समाजवादी आज कहां गए? आज सपा है, बहुत सारे दल। मंडल कमीशन का रिपोर्ट आने का बाद आज सपा है, वो सारे का सारे क्रांतिकारी एक नया इक्वेशन में चले गए, वो कास्ट इक्वेशन। आज इतना दिन से डिबेट चल रहे हैं, एक बार भी डॉक्टर राम मनोहर लोहिया का नाम किसने लिया? क्या राम मनोहर लोहिया जाति का आधार पर समाज को बांटने का काम करता था? लोहिया का नाम नया शब्दावली आ गया, सोशल कस्मस, सोशल इंजीनियरिंग। उसी का नाम पर सब जाति का आधार बना लिया और उसके ऊपर राजनीति का चर्चा चल रहा है। हम लोग चाहते क्या है? Whether it is a command economy or market borrowing policy, दुनिया में ऐसा कोई अर्थव्यवस्था अभी तक तैयार नहीं है, ऐसा कोई भी सरकार नहीं है जिसका पास सारे प्रश्न का जवाब है। देखिए, अर्थव्यवस्था बढ़ रहे हैं, ये सिर्फ हमारे देश में नहीं, सारा पृथ्वी का सामने चैलेंज है ये, लेकिन उतना मात्रा में जॉब क्रिएशन नहीं हो रहा है। इट्स अ एकेडमिक चैलेंज टू द इकोनॉमिस्ट, an administrative challenge to the politicians. We have to address it. और ये सरकार वही काम कर रहे हैं। आप लोग चाहते क्या है? क्या हम लोग अर्ली 80s का बात भूल गए? कांग्रेस का बेंच से जवाब आया था, करप्शन, व्हाट्स रॉन्ग, इट्स एन इंटरनेशनल फेनोमेनन। प्राइस हाइक, व्हाट्स रॉन्ग, इट्स एन इंटरनेशनल फेनोमेनन। हम लोग क्या हिंदू रेट ऑफ ग्रोथ में वापस जाना चाहते हैं? कांग्रेस के अपना पुराना दिन एकदम भूल चुके हैं। आप लोग अगर इसको पूरी नजर डालेंगे तो कौन सा इकोनॉमी का बात कर रहे हैं वो? 1973 to 75 the inflation was more than 20%. And growth was 1.2%. In 1979-80, the growth was -5%. Inflation का बात तो आप छोड़ दीजिए। आज आपका सामने जो लोग बात बोल रहे हैं वो क्या चाहते हैं? हम लोग कौन सी अर्थव्यवस्था का तरफ जा रहे हैं आज? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, you cannot complain in the morning about too much of being taken away through taxes, and in the evening about not spending enough on various heads such as education, health and social welfare scheme. Sir, कोविड काल का बाद एक विपरीत अर्थनैतिक स्थिति पर जब ये देश गुजर रहे थे, सारे पृथ्वी का सामने ये देश और चाइना, दो देश है जो प्री कोविड सिचुएशन पे चले गए, अपना जीडीपी को उसी जगह तक पहुंचा दिया। दूसरी शब्द सर ये है, जो लोग आज इस सदन में बैठकर बोल रहे हैं ये सरकार के पास बहुमत नहीं है, चुनाव का नतीजा ये बोल रहे हैं कि आपका अर्थव्यवस्था से जनता खुश नहीं है, आप लोग गरीब विरोधी सरकार है, किसान की विरोध आप लोग कर रहे हैं, एकदम से ही बोल रहे हैं। बहन जी, किसका साथ बैठे हुए हैं आप? आज जो वामपंथी लोग कांग्रेस का साथ इकट्ठा बैठ गए हैं, वो लोग सारे जिंदगी भर एक ही बात बोलकर आए हैं कि व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज इज हैपनिंग इन इंडिया, इट इज एंटायरली यूएस ड्रिवन। चाहे वो किसान की व्यवस्था हो, चाहे एजुकेशन हो, चाहे इस देश की इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी हो, वी आर अंडर सीवियर थ्रेट। एवरीथिंग हैज बीन डिटरमिन्ड बाय इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड। आज एक जगह में आकर बैठ गए हैं। देखिए, ये कोऑपरेटिव कॉम्पिटिटिव फेडरलिज्म है, इस पर सबसे सीखना पड़ेगा। हम राज्य से कुछ बात ले, सभी राज्य के पास जाए, क्या हो रहे थे वहां और क्या नया होने वाला है, सबका ऊपर विषय पे चर्चा होना चाहिए। Sir, during the key days of Indian socialism in early 1970, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was holding the charge of the Ministry of Finance in 1970-71. In her union budget for 1970-71, she increased the highest marginal rate of basic income tax applicable to the income above rupees 2 lakh from 70% to 80%. And with the surcharge of 10%, the highest marginal rate became 93.5%. Her successor, Minister was Sri Y.V. Chavan. Finance Minister Y.V. Chavan in his union budget for 71-72 left the basic rates unchanged, but increased the surcharge for income above rupees 15,000 from 10% to 15%. With this increase, at the pinnacle of our socialism, the highest marginal rate of personal income tax became 97.95%. It did not work. Revenue suffered. Following the Wang Chu Committee report, Y.V. Chavan, as the Minister of Indira Gandhi's Finance Cabinet, he brought down the income tax rate along with surcharge. The highest level was 97 from 90.75% to 77%. This is the situation. लेकिन सर ये बात भी हम लोगों को समझना चाहिए, जो कुछ राज्य बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस कर रहे हैं। हम जिस स्टेट से आते हैं, पश्चिम बंगाल, ऑफनली दे डिमांड, जो वहां का जो किसान है उसका रोजगार 3 गुना हो गया। और जब आप लोग बोल रहे हैं सारी अर्थव्यवस्था चरमरा गया, इसी का भीतर एक देश, एक राज्य जिसका पूरा किसानों की रोजगार 3 गुना हो गया, हमको ये चाहिए माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, कि आप एक टीम भेजिए देखने के लिए क्या हो रहा है बंगाल में, कौन सा चमत्कार कर दिया ये लोग ने।
अध्यक्ष महोदय को तो पता ही है,
एक बार उसको भेजिए सर, और आप और उस टीम का हेड करके आप इसको जरूर हमारा कांग्रेस का, हाँ, हमारा जो नेता बैठा हुआ है कांग्रेस का,
मेरी तरफ देखिए।
नहीं,
सामयिक जी मेरी तरफ देखिए।
आप ही की तरफ देख ले, बोल रहे हैं क्या?
वेरी गुड।
अरे भाई 3 गुना कर दिया, अरे आपको प्रेस कर रहे हैं, आपको सपोर्ट पे बोल रहे हैं, आपको व्हाई आर यू अपोजिंग? हम तो आपको पास जाने के लिए बोल रहे हैं। अरे देखिए, कांग्रेस का नेता भी हुआ गए, राहुल जी का इतना बड़ा रैली हुआ, रास्ते में कितना बाधाएं आए, लेकिन एकदम पूरा चुप। हमारा जो नेता है वो सदन में जितना गर्म है, बंगाल में जब जाते हैं उतना ही नरम हो जाते हैं, उतना ही नरम। ना वो दूसरा कांग्रेस नहीं, और एक नाम सर जयराम जी को तो एकदम आपको भेजना ही चाहिए, लेकिन जयराम जी अगर जाएंगे तो पूरा सदन का जितना नेता है सब प्रोटेक्टेड रहेगा, कुछ नहीं होगा। जयराम जी को तो बहुत सारे पत्रकार प्रश्न भी किया था।
माननीय सदस्य, ये अच्छी बात है कि आपके ऑब्जर्वेशन पर जयराम जी ऑब्जेक्शन नहीं ले रहे हैं। दिस विल नॉट गो ऑन रिकॉर्ड।
नो
यू आर मेकिंग अ रिफ्लेक्शन ऑन अ मेंबर।
हम जयराम जी हम तो जयराम जी को
नहीं, because we in this, one second, we in this house are benefited by his presence, and every member of the house has to be here and is friend of everyone, Jairam ji included. So come to the more substantive point.
सर मेरा एक्सपीरियंस तो यही है, जो भी जाते हैं उधर एक ही गाना गुनगुनाते हैं, जे हमें तुमसे प्यार कितना ये हम नहीं जानते, मगर हम जी नहीं सकते तुम्हारे बिना। यही चलते सर। मार हम लोग का है, पूरा सदनों में SC/ST का बातें चल रहे हैं। 165 शेड्यूल कास्ट कम्युनिटी पीपल हैव बीन वेस्ट बंगाल हैव बीन किल्ड बाय तृणमूल कांग्रेस। यहाँ बैठकर बातें कर, जो बजट भाषण में भाग ले रहे हैं, जो SC/ST का सोशियो इकोनॉमिक अपलिफ्टमेंट का बातें कर रहे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं पश्चिम बंगाल पे?
One second. Yes, no, there's no there. Yes, no, over, please. Yes, ma'am. Sir, you wanted to say something?
I had raised my 267 in the morning, sir. You had not allowed. उसके बाद हम लोग 176 उसमें डाले हैं सर, प्लीज उसको अलाउ कीजिए। विनेश फोगत पर सर।
Okay. Thank you. Yes. I thought you were taking exception to what he said.
सर सभी प्रदेशों से जो लोग आते हैं अपने प्रदेश का बात करके चले गए, लेकिन व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन वेस्ट बंगाल राइट नाउ? द फ्लाइट ऑफ कैपिटल इज ऑन। जो लोग वह इंडस्ट्रियल किसी भी समिट पर खड़ा होकर बोल रहे हैं, एकमात्र डेस्टिनेशन है हिंदुस्तान में, उसका नाम है पश्चिम बंगाल, जो हमारा मुख्यमंत्री का साथ बगल में बैठकर ये बातें करते हैं। अब 10 साल से उसका बैलेंस शीट देख लीजिए, सारे का सारे वो पश्चिम बंगाल का बाहर अभी निवेश कर रहे हैं। स्थिति क्यों ऐसा हो गया, इसका ऊपर समझना चाहिए। जितना भी लोग आज यहाँ आकर के SC/ST कम्युनिटी का बारे में बोल रहे हैं, सबको ये जानकारी होना चाहिए। पश्चिम बंगाल में इस समय जो हालत है, जो लोअर जुडिशियरी इज अंडर थ्रेट, और सब ये नहीं है, कानूनी स्थिति इतना बिगड़ा हुआ है कि कोई भी अर्थव्यवस्था, कोई भी निवेश आज पश्चिम बंगाल में संभव नहीं है। Nobody is interested to invest anything in West Bengal. This is the present situation. सर बजट पर बहुत चर्चा हुआ, लेकिन नो इकोनॉमी कैन मूव इन आइसोलेशन। आज 142 करोड़ इस देश की जनसंख्या हो गया। यू हैव टू कंट्रोल द पॉपुलेशन एंड इट इज माय
honorable member to make a sweeping statement that no one is interested. You are going too far. The entire country is getting investment and West Bengal is part of it. That's
Sorry.
what you want to say, ma'am? Yes,
Sir, मेरा एक ही बात,
she has a right because you have made a reflection of a serious nature.
SC/ST की मौत पर इन्वेस्टमेंट के बारे में जो बोले हैं, सबके बारे में हम चाहते हैं, विनती करते हैं कि वो ऑथेंटिकेट किया जाए। एक्सटेम्पोर बोला जा रहा है, ये ठीक नहीं है। थैंक यू सर।
Please conclude. I'll look into it. Please
what about
conclude.
the population control? ये तो आपकी बात दम से मैं हमारी देश की प्रधानमंत्री और वित्त मंत्री के पास ये मेरा निवेदन है, जे they should bring a stringent law to control this population. सारी प्रदेशों को पास तो फैमिली प्लानिंग ये एक फ्लैगशिप प्रोजेक्ट है, हम दो हमारा दो, और बहुत जगह ऐसा भी है, हम दो हमारा दो, लेकिन बाहर से रोहिंग्या को आने दो, ये कितना दिन चल सकते हैं? हम दो हमारा दो और रोहिंग्या को आने दो, पूरा पश्चिम बंगाल का डेमोग्राफी बदल गया। आवर इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट, इसका ऊपर तो चर्चा होना चाहिए। कौन सा इतना बड़ा अर्थशास्त्री भारत में आकर सब कुछ बदल देगा? अगर ये जनसंख्या का ऊपर हम लोग अंकुश नहीं लगाएगा, इसका ऊपर तो कुछ करना चाहिए और उसमें सहमत होकर कहना चाहिए। पार्टी का स्थिति का ऊपर उठकर इसको ऊपर कहना चाहिए। ऐसा दिन ज्यादा नहीं चल सकते हैं सर। अब पश्चिम बंगाल का स्थिति बहुत खराब है। आज जो लोग इधर इस डिबेट में पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं, जो लोग इस अर्थव्यवस्था का बात कर रहे हैं, एक बार जाकर हम तो इसीलिए बोला, हम सर फिर विनती करता हूं, हम जयराम जी का बारे में कुछ गलत शब्द तो नहीं बोला। हम जयराम जी का बहुत आदर करता हूं और श्रद्धा सहकर बोलता हूं, जो सभी का साथ जयराम जी भी चले एकदम।
समीक जी, आपके मन में ये भावना नहीं आनी चाहिए कि आप ही जयराम जी का आदर करते हैं। नंबर दो,
सर हम लोगों ने देखा
जयराम जी का नाम ही आदरणीय है।
सर एक बात बोलकर हम एक ही शब्द बोलकर हमारा खत्म, एक शब्द बोलकर सर हम ये कर रहे हैं सर। देखिए सर, एक 1 मिनट सर ओनली सर, प्लीज सर। पश्चिम बंगाल में चुनाव हो रहा था, 7 फेज इलेक्शन था, 4 चरण का चुनाव हो गया। कांग्रेस का तरफ से एक भी बयान नहीं आया, अचानक फिर में जाकर सर एक मिनट सर मैं प्लीज आई वांट टू
नाउ ओवर प्लीज। थैंक यू,
एक मिनट सर।
समीक भट्टाचार्य जी, थैंक यू। डोला सेन जी will have the last word. Thank you. Yes ma'am. Half a minute.
सर फिर हम विनती करती हूँ सौमिक भट्टाचार्य जी को विद ड्यू रेस्पेक्ट हम बोलना चाहते हैं सर थ्रू यू कि मानी बिल पर भाषण अगर हो तो ठीक है, लेकिन लॉ एंड ऑर्डर इज अ स्टेट सब्जेक्ट, उसके ऊपर वो भाषण दे रहा है, ये ठीक नहीं है।
Bill for introduction, Shri Piyush Goyal to move for leave to introduce the Boilers Bill 2024.
Respected sir, with your kind permission, I move for leave to introduce a bill to provide for the regulation of boilers, safety of life and property of persons from the danger of explosions of steam boilers, and for uniformity in registration and inspection during manufacture, erection and use of boilers in the country, and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto.
The question is that leave be granted to introduce the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it. Shri Piyush Goyal.
I move that the bill be introduced.
Bill for withdrawal. Shri Kiran Rijuji to move for leave to withdraw the Waqf properties eviction of unauthorized occupants Bill 2014.
Sir, with your kind permission, I rise to move for leave to withdraw the bill to provide for the eviction of unauthorized occupants of the Waqf properties and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto.
It is there. Moved?
Yes.
Motion moved. There are 2 notices. One is given by Shri Abdul Wahab and Dr. John Bittas opposing the withdrawal of the Waqf properties, eviction of unauthorized occupants, Bill 2014. The members who are opposing the motion may make brief explanatory statement, very brief. Shri Abdul Wahab, not present. Dr. John Bittas.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. John, very brief.
Sir, I have submitted the objection under Rule 119. Sir, 2014, this bill was introduced in Rajya Sabha precisely because...
Under Rule?
119, sir.
119.
It was intended to free the encroachment of Waqf properties. And if you look at the objectives, these are all model objectives which we should have adhered to. This government deliberately delayed getting the confirmation of the House and the Parliament. Now, sir, this bill is being withdrawn precisely to bring another bill, that is to encroach upon the Waqf properties. Diametrically opposite intentions. And the intention of the government is suspect. They want to create polarization in the society. They want to polarize the Indian people. They want to play politics. And my submission is that Waqf properties, the government has no business to get into that. And the bill which has been circulated is against the spirit of these Waqf properties. They are diluting the Waqf Act. They are trying to bring in non-Muslims into the Waqf governing. They are going to bring in collector to adjudicate on matters with regard to the Waqf properties. I would urge upon the government that at a time when we have so many examples which are coming from neighboring countries, we should be striving to ensure the social fabric of this country remain intact. So, my only request to this government is that, see, the government should learn a lesson from the last mandate which was given to you. The people of this country doesn't appreciate your bulldozer politics. You indulge in bulldozer politics. You try to create polarization.
Please.
Sir, this is my right. So, my objection to this withdrawal of the bill is that this withdrawal is being effected precisely to bring in another bill to dent the social harmony of this country. I strongly object to this. Thank you, sir.
The question is the leave be granted. Sorry. One second. Leader of the House, what your member is talking by sitting in the chair? Samik, sitting in the chair, you are speaking. This is not appreciated. Never ever speak without permission, and that also after permission while standing in your own chair. Thank you. Shridhar Wahab.
Thank you, sir.
You were not here.
Just gone to toilet, sir. Just. And I thought that our.
But I hope you did not hurry up.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. When Dr. John Britage is on his legs, you need not hurry up.
Britage
Only
is
the chair has to look at the clock.
Our concern is.
Yes.
Our concern is this withdrawal of the bill only. You are talking. He is talking about the new bill which is supposed to come. It is already gone to JPC. This one withdrawal of this one bill. Why we are opposing is the clauses which was in that bill. It was just against the bill which is supposed to come, which you are already circulated. The power to vacate or these Waqf properties, it was stringent in that bill. That is why we are opposing that one. So to get new bill, you have to withdraw the other bill. That is technical. But the recommendation in that one, the bill, previous bill, that is you are going to withdraw, which is already was in the Rajya Sabha. So that one, when you make this new bill, you should consider what was there for the benefit of those who made the property under Waqf. Why we are making our property under Waqf? To get the benefit for what is our purpose. I may be giving my land to purpose for something of my concern. my community or my family, whatever it is. But later, after some years, it is going to somebody's hand. For some reasons, maybe maybe in our place, Hindustan, Malayalam and all, they are keeping the Waqf properties for a mere rent of 3,000 rupees, 2 acres in Calicut city. So these are all happening. Such a bill, what is happening is, before it was, now stringent action was there. We can evacuate these people and we can give somebody for the benefit of the people, those it was for Waqf. So now, in these circumstances, we fear that withdrawing that bill, that you are going some plans behind. So that plan came open when our minister circulated the bill. That in that bill, that is why we are, John Britas is comparing with that one. So the idea of withdrawing this bill is to make a new amendments, which already we know, whether it is going to JPC or not. The intention of the bill is not clear, it is clear, but it is not for a good intention there. Niyat nahi. Whatever motives they got. But you are getting, Minister Ji, don't get provoked of all this one. You are, okay, let the chairman interfere in that. Through you, I am just requesting our feelings to Kiran Rijiju, Minister, that in the JPC, when it is coming, you should reconsider the bill which you circulated. When you are repealing or withdrawing the old bill, you just see what is the differences. Don't give all the power to just a IAS officer. That is our sincere request to you. I am not going wild and all, telling peacefully. Our community, they got a lot of fear. That you should have to understand the feelings of 30 crore or whatever. I don't know the new census.
Thank you.
Whatever it is. That's why it was subject to correction by John Britas.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't know the exact number.
Thank you.
Please consider
the question is,
thank you,
that leave be granted to withdraw the bill. Those in favor, I would have accommodated, but notice was not given by you. And rules allow everyone to give notice. I had only 2 notices. Next time be careful, vigilant. Against the rules, not in a second. Within the rules, I can moderate the time. The question is that leave be granted to withdraw the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Shri Kiran Rijiju to move a motion under Rule 117 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in the Council of States.
I move that the debate on the Constitution Amendment Bill 2022, amendment of Article 16 by Sri Javed Ali Khan, and the discussion be adjourned for a day allotted for private members' legislative business bills during the next session of Rajya Sabha.
Motion moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Shrimati Nirmala Sitharaman to reply the combined discussion on Jammu and Kashmir Appropriation Number 3 Bill 2024 and the Appropriation Number 2 Bill 2024, which was completed yesterday, and the discussion on the Finance Number 2 Bill 2024. Honorable Finance Minister.
Thank you very much, sir. So have you, just as you've rightly pointed out, it is a reply which is addressing those points which have been raised during the debate on three different bills. One is the Jammu Kashmir Appropriation Bill number 3, and also the Appropriation Bill number 2, which has come from the Rajya Sabha, together with the Finance Bill 2024. So the Appropriation Bill of the Union Government and also of the Union Territory has been discussed since yesterday. I will respond to individual members who have raised their views on the subject. But broadly, keeping in line with the vote on account budget which was passed in February, the budget of 2024, presented on July 23rd, 2024, highlights and continues the feature that capital expenditure will be sustained, as was indicated earlier, at 11.11 lakh crores. And this will include 1.50 lakh crores, which will be given as capital assistance for the states, financial assistance to the states for capital expenditure, which is interest-free for 50 years. So actually 11 lakh crore itself is a big number, but if we look at the effective capital expenditure, that is, when our capital expenditure and also the money given to the state as grant and aid for creating capital assets, in our accounts it doesn't get counted as capital, whereas in the states it gets counted as capital. So if I were to look at both the capital assets, therefore, effective capital expenditure can be pegged at 15.02 lakh crores or 18% over 23-24. So we are continuously, since after COVID, emphasizing and spending higher and higher amounts in capital expenditure, partly answers the questions which was raised by Jairam Ramesh later. I have 4 issues, you answer on them. One of this, he probably implicitly agreed that this is one engine which is anyway happening. But that engine is happening in full throttle. And as a result of which, it has a bearing on the private investment, on consumption, and in a way also helps in pumping exports. So this one big engine consistently between 2020 and today, increasing more and more amounts, actual growth between one year and the other is also on a higher graph. So it is important that we've recognized that in an economy which is COVID affected, and that in an economy which requires to stand on its own, considering the global challenges which are mounting each year. Since after COVID, you had one war, then a second war, and both the wars have not abated. Then you have a problem in the Red Sea. Then you also have a problem of the global currency markets, and also the Japanese carry trade business, which has affected the trust in the global markets and so on. All of this are growing in the number of challenges that India has to face. We can always say global challenge and leave it at that. But each one of the challenge has an impact on India. And despite that, since after COVID, with this emphasis given on capital expenditure, whose multiplier effect, whose traction is so much in the economy, which is an established theory that you spend on capital and you reap the benefit of sustained growth. Whereas if you spend on revenue, you don't get that kind of a return. That is what is the multiplier effect. And that multiplier effect has sustained India as a fastest growing economy continuously since after COVID. And we shall be the fastest growing economy even this year, and that's not just me saying, global observers have said. So this route that Prime Minister Modi has clearly identified has one of the very tested, fine route for countries like India is standing by us in not only meeting domestic challenge of reviving the economy after COVID, but meeting the global increasing number of challenges. So I want to clearly place emphasis on this, and in that we are not doing it all on our own. We are making states also take up capital expenditure by giving them interest-free 50-year loans, which eventually will be treated probably as grants only. So states are now being able to strengthen their capital expenditure, and many states are completing long-pending projects or taking up newer projects, as a result of which economy around it is getting enough traction. So I want to, while saying that, I also want to clearly put on record that the total resources proposed for transfer to states in 24-25 is estimated to be 22.91 lakh crores. It entails an increase of about 2.49 lakh crores over 23-24. So there is an increase between last year and this year, and this is the range at which we are devolving resources to the states. Similarly, outlays for all union territories have increased from 61,118 crore last year to 68,660 crore this year. This is for all the UTs for this year. So I've also announced a slew of measures aimed at adding employment, because employment intensity to India's growth story is a very critical component, and through renewed impetus being given to manufacturing sector. I had detailed the various steps that we had taken for supporting manufacturing sector, but very clearly the manufacturing sector and its contribution, which I'll explain in a minute more, proves that these policies that we have taken up to support manufacturing is actually paying good rewards. So overall, the aim is at boosting domestic employment opportunities, ensuring high and sustainable growth in India's share to the global GDP over the next 5 years. There were a lot of concerns expressed even when we were discussing the budget speech, general discussions, about have you cut down on resources being given to the social sector? I would want to take this opportunity once again. I did it last time. I'll say it now as well. I seek your permission for it, sir. Agriculture and allied sectors. We have not cut down. On the contrary, more is being given. 1.44 lakh crores was the allocation last year. This time it's gone to 1.52 lakh crores. 8,000 crore more than the last year. And 1.22 lakh crore more than the BE of 13-14. Education, employment and skilling, very important sector, sir. 85,000 crore was the allocation in 2013-14. Last year it was 1.20 lakh crore. This year it is 1.48 lakh crores. So 23% more allocation, that is 28,000 crores more than the last year. Women and child girls. I did hear quite a few honorable members speak saying allocation for women is not substantial. I'm afraid not, sir. It is substantial. 96,000 crore it was in 2013-14. Last year it was 2.31 lakh crore. This year it is 3.27 lakh crores. 41% more allocation, or 96,000 crores more than last year. So rural development, including infrastructure, had 87,000 crores in 2013-14, whereas last year it had 2.38 lakh crores. This year it is 2.66 lakh crore, 11.7% more allocation, that is 28,000 crore more than the last year. Urban development, sir, which is important for many of the cities which expect to grow because the population is also growing in them. 12,000 crores was the amount in 2013-14. In 23-24, 76,000 crore. Now it has gone up to 83,000 crore, 7,000 crore more than the last year. Health and social welfare, sir, on which a lot of members have expressed concern, 72,000 crores it was in 2013-14. It was in the last year 1.43 lakh crores. Now it's gone to 1.46 lakh crore, 3,000 crore more than last year. So in a nutshell, the union budget this year balances several overriding imperatives: growth, employment, welfare spending, capital investments, and fiscal consolidation. We've tried to balance all these without compromising on any one sector, and I'm glad to say, eventually, even on fiscal consolidation, we've kept our word up, the word given in 21, that there will be a glide path for fiscal deficit management, and that has been kept up. We have kept the word, and therefore, the balancing of these very...
Honorable members, it is now 6 p.m. If the House so agrees, we may sit beyond 6 p.m. today till disposal of the appropriation bills and the Finance Bill number 2, Bill 2024, and special mentions. Do I have leave of the House to extend the sitting beyond 6 p.m.? Honorable Finance Minister, please continue.
Thank you, sir. So we've tried balancing all these overriding imperatives, and I think if honorable members would recognize that given our constraints, we have tried maintaining the balance, and we've, I would think, succeeded in maintaining that balance. Sir, the creation of the internship opportunities that we've brought in for first-time job seekers and the skill development, I would think, very critical this year, leading towards the first few steps leading towards Vikasit Bharat in 2047. Sir, augmentation of the social sector spending with a thrust on human development and comprehensive social security, particularly for the disadvantaged sections of our society, is something which I'll again draw your attention. So the two guiding principles, if I can summarize it that way, are social inclusivity of people from all strata and equitable development of all regions by adopting a whole-of-nation approach. And that is what I think would address the high aspirations and expectation of our people. So if I can quickly summarize on the budget for Jammu and Kashmir, sir, the important point which I would place on record, which people who have gone through the budget will realize, that the health, fiscal health of the state is coming on the groove from where it was earlier. It required a lot of management by the administration. We have definitely taken the burden of managing the state police's expenditure, and substantial financial support for a state of 17,000 crore in this budget has been extended. As a result of these kind of steps that we've taken, sitting with the UT Jammu Kashmir authorities, I can tell you that the fiscal deficit of the GSDP is estimated to fall to about 3% in 24-25, which is remarkable, I would think, and I would appreciate the officials who are managing the economy in J&K to have completely removed the legacy problems that they had and to get the economy on course. I think they have done remarkable, very detailed, going to detail kind of a work, and J&K administration therefore requires one word of appreciation from this august House. So broadly with these summary remarks on the appropriation bill and also Jammu and Kashmir, I would like to come to the first section of responding to honorable members who have spoken on the J&K appropriation and also on the appropriation bill of our budget this year. before I talk on the finance bill related observations of honorable members. Sir, Honorable Member Digvijay Singh had raised quite a few concerns. I can't see him here, but the issues that he raised quite a few points. Largely, I thought were coming from the political interpretation of what he sees through the budget process, but three of which I want to respond to, sir. First of all, he seemed to be impressed by the global hunger index. It is, and I've said this in this House earlier, also in the Lok Sabha, it's a flawed index. Their calculation is completely inexplicable. They can't stand up and say why it is so for some countries, why it is slightly different for some other countries. If I would just lay the examples before you and therefore say why I am questioning it as a flawed index, that will explain enough to answer Honorable Member Digvijay Singh. So conflict-ridden countries like Sudan, Malawi, Burkina Faso, and Mali are all higher than us in the index. Pakistan too is higher than us in the index. Nothing wrong with countries being above us if they have to be there, and I don't grudge it. But then they are higher than us, knowing very well the economies there have serious basic problems. The index does not explain as to how these countries are higher. And when we say we've taken care of feeding the poorest of the poor, and not getting into the numbers because they would say, oh, 80 crore of your people are poor. I'm not getting into that. But ensuring that nobody remains hungry, we have ensured distributing grains for 80 crore people since 2020. And it seems that the global hunger index has not taken that on board. Whereas when people are standing, the poorest of poor people are standing for corn and starch flour in Mali, in queues, and also for atta in Pakistan, that economy seems to be defeating global hunger index lower rankings and going up, whereas we are put somewhere below. So I would want to highlight to Honorable Member Digvijay Singh that you please question based on studies that you do in this country, and we are willing to answer, but this index is flawed. The global hunger index is flawed. Now, the recent report, National Family Health Survey, that is 2019-2021, the nutrition indicators for children under 5-year-old have improved compared with NFHS 4. This is NFHS 5 that we are talking about. NFHS 4, which was the period to which it relates is 2015-16, whereas this one that I'm talking about is 2019-21. Stunting has reduced from 38.4% to 35.5% in India. Wasting among children, wasting has reduced from 21.0% to 19.3%. Underweight prevalence has reduced from 35.8% to 32.1%. These are very, very revetted numbers which if we have to remove and bring them lower, a lot of effort is required. These are very, very entrenched numbers. But now these numbers are showing that there is a clear sign of coming down. It is because of nutrition reaching these families, and therefore this hunger index has got to be reviewed, and I wouldn't want Honorable Member Digvijay Singh to rely so much on a flawed index. Sir, the next issue that he also highlighted was net financial household savings are lowest. So I want to highlight the fact that country is witnessing a lot of change in terms of smart portfolio diversification. Small savings are also finding portfolios which are giving them better returns. So they may not be sitting in a post office, or they may not be sitting in a public sector bank, a savings account, or small-time fixed deposit. They are finding different portfolios which are giving us probably better returns. Every individual decides for themselves. They're also investing in property and property improvements. So they may be living in a small house which has a bedroom and a kitchen and so on. Now they are investing in making one more additional room to their houses. So money is going not into the deposit, sometimes it is going for asset creation. Those don't get counted at all. And even better, sir, when we were talking about rationalizing capital gains tax, the number of people who came back to say, why are you now even bringing in a small increase in the futures and options, the trading that happens in futures and options? And I was surprised when people who told me were very middle-class people. I said, futures and options? You'd expect people who have that kind of a disposable income to trade in futures and options. But people have become smarter. They are able to make sense of it. They're better informed, even probably to put money there and get smaller returns for themselves. And therefore, today, small saving is alone not the portfolio. People have found different portfolios which are helping them. So I need to highlight the fact that financial household savings today will have to include, when you're counting that, you will have to include the other portfolios which are available for small families. So growth in housing sales in cities has been particularly impressive, indicating that urban households are diversifying the deployment of their savings. In 2023, residential real estate sales in India were at their highest since 2013, witnessing a 33% year-on-year growth with a total sale of 4.1 lakh units in top 8 cities. So people are moving to thinking in terms of having their savings become investment into properties and also into portfolios which give them better returns. So I want that fact to be taken on board by Sri Honorable Digvijay Singh. Third, sir, he spoke about unemployment is increasing, labor-intensive sectors like textile sector is being ignored, which is not the case, sir. And he did say only in this budget you're supporting textiles and leather, but not earlier. That is not true. Quite a few years we've been sustaining our interest and making sure that support is extended through various different ways for labor-intensive sectors. While I can go about telling about what is the periodic labor force survey saying on how the employment numbers are going up, unemployment coming down, but I will use this example of supporting women in the workplace, which we have done, which is showing result. So if women's data is improving, you can safely assume that men's data equally is going up. If I were to say the reverse, it may not be holding good. But female enrollment in higher education has increased by 32% since 2014-15. Women's labor force participation has risen to 37% in 22-23 from 23.3% in 17-18. This increased participation of women in the labor force has reversed the steady decline that was observed during the UPA era. To sustain this momentum, this budget has allocated more than 3 lakh crores to schemes benefiting women and girls. Also, sir, in collaboration with industry, we will set up working women's hostels, establish creches, organize women-specific skilling programs, and promote market access for women SHG entrepreneurs. So, Honorable Member Digvijay should actually look at various different sources before he has reasons to believe what he said, sir. I would direct his attention towards that. So I've tried, therefore, to address issues raised on unemployment by very many different members. I'm not naming them. I have a list here. Social sector public spending. And also, I think even during the budget speech, I did say that concern of few members that attention is going only to some states and not other states. I think I've dispelled that. but these issues have been addressed. Now I come to talking about the finance bill, sir. I'll give a brief opening remark and then go to talking about specific issues which honorable members have raised. So this finance bill has actually very clear route. It's ambitious. We've tried to create a taxation system that is simple, that is equitable, and easy to administer. The system that recognizes the efforts of the taxpayer in nation building. So we trust the taxpayer, and we want to give him or her a simplified taxation scheme of things. So the revenue proposals which have been brought in here focus on two areas: ease for taxpayers by simplifying tax laws and procedures, and also facilitation for growth and employment. So largely the debate on finance bill has been confined to you're not doing enough for the middle class. So I just want to highlight the specific steps in this budget and also the one before, actually also inclusive of the fiscal measures that have been taken in the finance bill. So in 2023, the slabs for personal income tax were significantly liberalized under the new regime. All taxpayers had a reduced tax liability of up to 37,500 crores last year. This government has again revised the slab in the new regime this time also. And that was explained earlier also. I will recall it. 17,500 rupees is the effective relief for the salaried class. Standard deduction for salaried employees has also been increased from 50,000 to 75,000 in this finance bill. Deduction on family pension for pensioners is proposed to be enhanced from 15,000 to 30,000 rupees. For salaried employees, deduction on employers' contribution in case of employees in private sector, which was missing all these years. Public sector employees had it, but private sector employees will get it now. And public sector banks opting for new tax regime has been raised from 10% to 14% in this budget. So I just want to highlight the fact, sir. Compared with very many developed economies, which have actually increased the tax rates, despite the pressure from COVID times, we have actually reduced the burden on middle class substantially. Effective tax on an income of 15 lakhs is reduced to 10% in 2023 under the new regime and has been further reduced this year. So I want that number to be clear for people who are earning 15 lakhs since the last budget to this one. The effective tax is only 10%. So this is a clear middle class friendly approach by using the new tax regime. Sir, even as I was coming here, in the afternoon, I had a young journalist tell me, "Ma'am, thank you very much." I said, "For what?" She said, "I got my refund this time within a week." The former CBDT chairman is here, reporting to you, as you said yesterday, reporting to you. Refunds have been systematically in the last few years one of the biggest things which the CBDT has handled. And continuously from last 3 years, we are each year improving our performance. That today, I had this young journalist tell me, I was anyway going to tell the honorable members of this House, that from 93 days in 2013-14, the time which took for refunds to reach people, it is today only 10 days. You pay the tax within 10 days, you get the refund that is due to you. I would also like to remind, sir, from the days of tax terrorism and rent seeking, today we have a faceless regime which has infused confidence in the minds of the taxpayer. And we trust the taxpayer in that he should just fill up the pre-filled forms which comes to him and his returns are filed. We also periodically come up with Vivad Se Vishwas schemes, which are aimed at reducing litigation so that all the pending litigation can be cleared and demands also can be removed. So this has brought relief to a lot of taxpayers, particularly the MSMEs, individuals and small corporations. Sir, this budget, small, old, petty and unverified tax demands of 90 lakh taxpayers were removed from the records as announced in the interim budget 2024. 90 lakh taxpayers pending demands, unverified tax demands have all been removed. Actually, this corresponds to 1.1 crore entities. So that's the kind of relief, and this largely benefits the middle class. Angel tax was removed, sir. I don't need to go into it. It was brought in 2012. We tried doing several things to make it softer rather than that kind of a exploitative tax, which is what was the Congress Party's description of angel tax was. They brought it in so they should know about it, and they said it is exploitative. We have removed it. So, sir, we've also announced in this budget a comprehensive review of the Income Tax Act in this budget. It's not going to be forever. 6 months is the time I've given them. Within 6 months, we should have a simplified version, which after due consideration will obviously be brought to this House and members will be briefed on it and the approval will be sought.